better than honest consciousness info. Sa.neter TV 7. You keep it hot 24/7. Keep it hot. You got that Black Force 102. Sa.neter TV 2. Yeah.
You are now inside sa.neter Studios, the House of Consciousness production, Black News presentation.
So stay your ass in your little bitty box where you feel safe. Cause there's motherfucking monsters over here. Real monsters.
Peace and Pan-Africanism to Brother Herman Smalls in the toughest environment you can be in.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for. This is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams, but this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
All right, man. Yo, this right here is about to get turned up. It's about to get serious. Elder Yarah can't take no more of this stuff going on. He wants all the smoke, brothers and sisters. He's calling me up. He says, sa.neter, go get the best Oahspe teacher you can find. I'm tired of it. It's time to wash this stuff up, man. It's time to get rid of this book because they playing too much. So if Shalom, if you're watching, hit the link, man. When my brother Elder Yarah finished doing what he got to do. Peace and blessings to you, brother Elder Yarah. What's on your mind today, man? What's happening, man? You're looking very serious, brother.
Yeah, man. Peace and blessings to you, sa.neter, man. Giving all praises to the God of Isaac and Jacob. Shout out to the House of Consciousness, man, on today. Sa.neter, you know what it is, man. I've had a few of those guys, you know, make some off the wall comments. Zion Lex, shout out to Zion Lex for the work that he put in on his channel. And sometimes I usually take the position after a presentation that Zion Lex put out. Sometimes you just gotta let sleeping dogs lie. You know what I'm saying? Because he really put him to sleep.
Hold up for 1 minute. Let me add some sauce and some spice to this right here. He want to give you a real nice opening. And I speak of none other than Minister Inky. What's up, Inky?
Hey, I definitely wanted to say peace to you, Yarah, because I really think that.
Peace to you, Yarah.
And I guess I came in right on time because Zion really, really hit the mark when he showed the racist ideas of these guys from the mid to late 1800s. To add to that, this guy is a dentist that wrote this book, and he's a dentist that was practicing dentistry on folks with no medication, no painkillers, like a straight savage. So I'm saying, like, a straight, like, how could a black man, and when I say a black man, you know, it's degrees of black man, but I'm saying, so La Shalom, first of all, his name is Shalom. Like, stop. That's not Oahspe, champ. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, why your name Shalom if you with the Oahspe niggas? So, but like, it's mind blowing. He's black as me with the long dreads, and you coming in here and you trying to prove, literally, his premise in that debate was that the Oahspe guys is or the white guys is less savage than the black guys, so go along with the Oahspe. I said, yo, this is crazy. So definitely I want to just bless your presentation. Hopefully you go ahead and hit him with the clothesline and then the leg drop and get that foolishness up out of here.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Minister Inky, for that, man. You know what it is, as you know, as a scholar yourself, so I appreciate that. You definitely right on it. If you just read the literature, one of the things that they always say is, but you haven't read the book. You haven't read the book. I've read enough of the book. I read enough of the book just to give the people enough to see the high-minded foolishness that exists. Inky hit on a point during Brother Selah Shalom's 2 points Inky brought out. One of the things is that you see is why I think this is very important that this has to be attacked, not just in the racial aspect that Zion Lex really killed this. We really shouldn't even be talking about it anymore. These guys really should be put in the box and shipped off somewhere else because they don't have the heart of African Americans and Black people in mind. And people they have the criticisms about the Bible, which if you want to talk about which book is better and which book is better for our people and all of that, listen, none of that matters when you really get inside of this book and it tells you right off the bat what they think about us. It's not even obscure. They didn't try to hide it. And if I saw the moment I opened the Bible, not somebody's hypothesis, right? Not somebody's Hamitic hypothesis where they erroneously talk about the curse of Ham and talk about where the Bible doesn't like Black people and all that foolishness. You have to interpolate that into the text. But when you open this book and you begin to read it as it says, and they always try to detach themselves from the book. If you really listen to what they're saying, they try to detach themselves from the book and they try to detach themselves from the writer of the book. When you open that book and what it begins to tell you at the very beginning of that book is that you're less as a Black person, as an African American person, as a person of melanin and color, that you're less than. And that's how you're going to live out your life throughout the entire script of this book and for eternity. Then that should be a problem for all of us. I invite every last one of them to come in, even your messages y'all been sending to me all week. Y'all been going back and forth with sa.neter. Sa.neter, we don't want to talk about the author of the book. We don't want to talk about the guy that wrote the book. All we want to talk about is if they God in their Bible, if Yahweh is a homicidal maniac. That's the debate they want to have. They don't want to talk about the author. Well, what if we came to the people and said, look, we're going to talk about the Bible and the Torah, but we don't want to talk about Moses. We're going to talk about the Bible, but we don't want to talk about Yahushua. We don't want to talk about none of the authors of the books, none of the prophets. We don't want to talk about none of them, why they wrote the books and why they wrote what they wrote. We don't want to talk about none of that. But they want us to come in. They don't want to talk about what's in the minds of the guy that wrote that book. And if you really get into the understanding of it, the many different people that wrote the book after him, added on to the book after him, because they don't have the original copy. The same argument that many of y'all give about the Bible. There's no original copy. Well, they claim to have an original copy, a photograph of it, but when you look at what they have, it's not the same. You know why? Because it's even more racist. It's full of scientific racism, which is what John Newborough was. He was a scientific racist. That's what he was. That's the paradigm that he followed. And I'm going to show that. I'm not going to cut it short. I'm going to put out all the information. I'm going to bring the stops. I'm going to give y'all information to live by when it comes to this book. And one thing I want you guys to understand is this, is that after this presentation, if what they want to do is argue whether or not if Yahweh was a homicidal maniac or whatever they want to do, I'm up for that too. But this information right here, I'm going to bring to people that what you didn't hear, some of the nuances that Zion Lex wasn't able to bring out for the sake of time, right? Because I'm going to show you some things that they never mention. They never talk about that require, listen, they don't even require answers because we have the answers. They didn't hide it in the book. They were very open about what they wanted and what they were looking for. So this is what we're going to do this evening, and I'm just going to get right into it. And sa.neter, you can stop me at any time. You got questions, just stop me. Hey, it's good. But I'm going to do this so the people that actually have other questions, really want to have some time to really discuss this, because I want the people to talk about it. That's the issue. I want people to talk about it. So let's go. I'm going to share my screen right now. Let me know if you can see it, sa.neter.
I see it. I see it. It's up.
Yeah, I'm going to make it bigger. I'm going to make it bigger. And so it's a reason why I titled this. If y'all go on my channel at Elder Yarah on YouTube, I got a series on this as well. So if you don't get it all here, I'm going to put most of it here in this presentation tonight. But I'm going to have some nuances in those pages and in those videos on my channel on the same thing that you actually pull out the references to. So let's get started. And it's a reason why I'm titling this The Malekian High Priest. If you understand the Canaanite pantheon and the Canaanite religion as it is, you see it clearly in the Bible. This is key. If you actually understand it, you'll see that one of the staples of one of the greatest, most diabolical acts of the worshipers of Molech was child sacrifice. It was very prevalent in the Levant region and in the worship of Molech, right? And I'm going to show you where this Malekian or this Molekian priesthood has been picked up, especially by the believers who follow this, not just the Oahspe Bible, but let's get specific with this faithist movement that did not come about until after this Oahspe book was allegedly put into production, right? In the 1880s. And so we're going to see the mindset of the people that goes into this. But you can't tell me you're going to separate yourself from the mind of the creator of this book, but yet you follow and you teach out of this book, but the author of it does not matter. That's problematic, right? So let's talk about the Oahspe Bible, right? So the words of Jehovah. And one thing you will notice is these off spellings, right? These off spellings, word like Jehovah and Oahspe and different things like that. But these things are coded. They actually mean something, right? These things are not just there as we would look at them and say, oh, listen, look, he just misspelled the words. But there's coding that goes into the misspelling of these words. And we're going to get into this later on in this presentation, right? First thing I want to deal with is the Oahspe Bible. And I want to read to you the addendums that were added onto it after the death of John Newbrow, who was the actual writer, the so-called writer and creator of this Oahspe book. Now, as the story goes, John Newbrow was visited for 52 weeks, an entire year, based on his own account, not something that's made up, based on his own account, that he himself was visited by spirits. Now, the funny thing is, he never called these spirits angels. He never said they were angels. He just said these powers are these angels. He got a funny name for it, as he does everything else. But he claims to have received this information from the spirit world. And to the agree at that point, I don't deny it. But what spirit world are we really talking about and what we're really dealing with here, right? Because you'll see oftentimes in the Islamic faith, they talk about the jinns, right? Or different things like that. So you'll see his rewording of those types of things based on what we see in this book. So I'm going to read to you guys the addendum and show you that from the very beginning, the people that claim to have followed him had a grave issue with this as well. So I'm going to make it bigger because I want you guys to be able to see this. And I'm going to show you the source that I'm reading from. Right? It's called More of the Oahspe, the New Era of the Cosmic Revelation, the Words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors, right? I'm going to talk about this little symbol right here too, show you guys where he drafted that from as well. And it all came from white Aryanism. And I'm going to show you that. White Aryanism. So let's talk about it, right? I want to read to you guys something. Specifically about the addendum that they added on to this particular book, right? So it says an explanation of the reasons for the photographic reproduction of the 1882 first edition of the Oahspe, plus reproduction of the original oil paintings and photographs by John Bellew Newbrow, excerpted from the 1891 second and revised edition. Key points here, family. The original oil paintings and photographs by John Bellew. These are very important. You rarely hear, or most Oahspeans really don't even understand it, or they don't make the connection to, because this is information that's really been repressed when it comes to the faithless movement that's built a movement upon this Oahspe Bible. These original oil paintings. So along with the Oahspe Bible that John Bellew Newbrow claimed he wrote, he also claimed that these spirits had him to paint certain paintings, certain oil paintings to depict the truth, that represented what the Oahspe Bible actually stood for and what it actually was about. These original oil paintings. So they also take into canon, not just the Oahspe Bible, but they take into canon these oil paintings, and there are over 100 of them. And they're very important to understanding the psychology of the mind that was writing these books and painting these paintings. Because when you see them, you'll actually begin to see visually what he saw in his mind. And as you begin to see what he saw in his mind, the picture for you will become much clearer as to why this Oahspe faithless movement is cultic, is anti-African, is anti-child, is anti-woman, is antithetical to the whole existence of humanity as a whole. And I'm going to show you this as we go further, right? So bear with me. This is some information. It's a lot of information, but I'm trying to condense it as much as I possibly can. So John Newbrow was born June 5th, 1828, Springfield, Ohio. We kind of know some of this about him already. For those of you who don't, you can look him up. He was a dentist, as Mr. Inky said. He failed in his dentist practice. He claimed at one point he couldn't stand the sight of blood. And so, but he didn't believe, as Brother Inky said, he didn't believe in administering painkillers or using anesthesia. And so he would often do this without telling his patients. And so he would go into them, have them bite down on something, right? Serve them a little bit of alcohol and then try to extract their teeth. This is the type of mindset he go, because he thought that painkillers was something that was against the human body, or anesthesia. And so, obvious to say, he lost his dental license. He wasn't allowed to practice anymore, and so he failed at that. And so, after taking some time off, making some small investments, different things like that, which he seemed to do very well, traveling the world, going to different places like India, Australia, places where he studied high spiritualism. He began to see how people were wholly influenced by spiritualism that began to become very popular during that particular period of time, right? And so he was acquainted, especially before he left New York City, with a group of sisters called the Fox Sisters, and we're going to talk about them as well. They're the ones who are pretty much given credit for sparking this spiritualist movement in the mid 1800s, right? So the Fox Sisters, and then onto that, you see this development of this philosophy, this spiritual philosophy called theosophy, right? Or this theosophical movement, right? That we're going to talk about later as we get into our discussion and dealing on that topic. So watch this, right? He says, there are a few things here. He says, I want to read, right? He says here what he decided to do. I want to get down to that.
You know, you're still on the first page with the Bible.
Is it? Hold on.
Yeah, it's not moving nowhere. You're still on. There you go.
Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay, good. I want everybody to see this first page so they can go ahead and once they look at it, they can start seeing it, right? So this is what this is. This is the source I'm getting ready to read you from. It's called the Oahspe. It's called More of the Oahspe. This is the addendum that they added on to it, right? The cosmic revelation, the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. And it's this symbol right here I was talking about. You'll see this being used for a lot of Aryan or white supremacist type movements, right? He used the same symbol. And so here you see here, they talk about different books. Then they talk about the list of portraits. This is very important. This is what I meant about looking at the paintings. This is actually a part of their canon. This is just looking at these portraits is just like looking at reading the pages of the Oahspe itself. So I'm going to show you guys some of these paintings and what they say, and I'm going to show you and pay attention to how they label it. Right? It's very interesting. So let's get into it right here. He says, one morning in 1870, New World went to the home of his friend Davis, who lived on 6th Avenue, right near the old Haymarket, and said, I have come for your advice. I had quite an experience about 4 a.m. this morning. He said, I was sleeping nicely when I felt a hand on my shoulder. A voice said, wake up, doctor. Everything is all right. I only want to ask you a question, and we will go. And I set up and asked it, yes, if I can. The voice said, would you like to perform a mission for Jehovah? I opened my eyes and saw the room was lit up with pillars of a soft light, so pleasing to the eyes that it was undescribable. I saw great numbers of beautiful spirits or angels. They did not have wings. I spoke, what is the mission? So that I might know whether to say yes or no. The answer came back, Jehovah would like for you to live spiritually. Listen to what he says, spiritually for 10 years. And at the end of that time, we will come back and tell you what it is we desire for your body and mind, right? Are not yet sufficiently perceptible now. He says, you must be pure, right? So he claims to have this vision in 1870, right? And so for 10 years, he claims that these beings want him to live a decade of a pure life, right? And so he says, what do you mean by living spiritually? He says, we want you to never to kill anything or eat anything that breathes, meat, fish, birds, reptiles, etc. Right? Live on nuts, fruits, and vegetables. You don't need so much food as you are too heavy now. You need to lose weight. One other thing is very important. You must help people give your services to people who need dental help without pay. If they cannot pay, do charity work by individual charity. You change the person's thoughts. They will think of you as a good man and will send out good thoughts to you. You will need all the goodwill you can get. And so what he's saying here and what happens is that he begins to offer free dental work to poor people who cannot pay. But in doing so, he begins to proselytize them into this believing of what later became the faithist movement, right? And so this is his lure. This is his carrot he's dangling in front of people, right? And so let me show you what he begins to do afterwards, right? Let's see what it says. It says, I answered, this will be quite a charge of living, a change for living from me. I will let you know. We already know the answer. It will be yes, the voice said. And then the lights dimmed and went out, and the atmosphere changed back to its normal darkness. I got up, wrote down everything that had happened, and I drank a glass of milk, and came over to ask you when he went over to talk to Davis, right? So this is 10 years prior, right? So now we go down here. So in 1880, 10 years later, it says he was awakened from his slumber by the same mysterious and beautiful lights filling his room. He sat up and demanded, am I worthy? The same voice spoke. You have done well. You have passed our test. We know that you feel more healthy. Now we want you to buy a typewriter and place it on the table. We will therefore awaken you 1 hour before dawn each morning, and you will sit in this chair before the typewriter and put your hands on the keys, and you will have plenty of paper to keep it always ready to use. I don't know how to use a typewriter, Bello says, Newborn says. He says, we will control your hands and arms and perform the task for you. So don't worry. You must not look at what is written until it is finished. This was a further discussion and instruction. Then the pillars of light dimmed and went out. Now, the reason why all of that's important, because he tells you himself 10 years after getting this revelation, these pillars of light come back. They tell him, say, look, don't worry about the fact that you don't know how to use a typewriter. Just go buy one, sit in this same chair, and we're going to come to you at the same time every morning, and you're going to type out this Oahspe Bible, right, which came to be known as the Oahspe writings, right? We're going to sit here, but we're going to guide your hands. These intelligent spiritual beings, they're going to guide his hands, right? Why is that important? Why are you making that a point, Yarah? Let's go down a little bit further. And this is why we have an addendum. And this is why an addendum had to be made, right? Let's go down a little bit further and see what we can find, the reasons why, right? He goes through every year, every week, 52 weeks, right? For a full year, writing this stuff down, being controlled by these super intelligent, highly intelligent or spiritual beings that's controlling his hands, right? So in 1982, the book was published. Newborough kept the first copy of the press and presented the second copy to his friend Edward August Davis in appreciation for his assistance over the years. The foregoing information, which is significant to note, is essentially the same as the account given by Newborough himself in a letter written January 1, 1883 to the editor. Although, and this is where he sent it to, the Diary of the Grandson, whatever August Davis said. He says, although copies of the first edition of Oahspe are regarded to exist in the possession of various individuals, only one copy has been located in 15 years of diligent searching by the publisher of the photocopied edition. And it is from the single copy that the photographic offset plates have been made, insomuch as there are considerable differences in the 1891 edition and those subsequent in the 1882 edition. It seems desirable to preserve the first edition in greater quantities for the purpose of those more erudite and concerned about the students of Oahspe, who made aware that it was a revision. There was a revision made and may wonder at the extent of the revision and the reasons for it. Right? The original manuscript is said it was destroyed in a flood in El Paso, Texas, after it had been carefully checked against the 1891 edition by Andrew M. Howland, which later became Nubro's right-hand man after he died. It says, who added Nubro in the work of revising the 1882 edition. Destroyed also were the paintings from the 1891 edition reproduced in this photographic copy edition. Howland has written that the 1891 edition is identical with the manuscript, while Nubro's daughter insists that the only differences in the two editions are a few typographical errors, which naturally reappear in this photocopy edition, right? So as you go down and you began to understand what the issue was and why they had to create an addendum, because as they began to read through these various books, right, some of the various books and circumstances behind the destruction of the Iranian manuscript, they had to talk about why there were so many misspellings if they were talking about the original book is what they had. They were saying there were so many misspellings and so many mispronunciations and so many things that was wrong with just the basic grammar of the book. They did not want to produce the book as it stood because there was no way they felt that they could pass this off as coming from a super highly intelligent beings with all this grammatical error, misspellings, and miswritings. So they had to create an addendum to rewrite the book in order to cover up the illiteracy of Dr. Nubro in his original writings, from which they showed with the photographs that they had. So the writing of the original Oahspe was so bad, they had to recreate it and get rid of all the errors, and in order for other people to even want to look at it or read it, or to even question or not whether it came from a higher intellect or supreme beings that he claims gave him this information. And as you continue to read through this, this is what you'll find. So that's one of the first main problems when you start reading this Oahspe, that if he's saying that it came from these hyper intelligent beings, why do we see all of if they were the ones controlling his hands and writing for him, why was the manuscript so inept? Why was it subpar? What happened to all of the paintings, right? It says the paintings also are included from the 1881 edition, but this is also very rare. So there are over 100 paintings that went along to explain the actual circumstances of the book and actually what he meant by what he was writing in the books. And I'm going to show you some of these paintings and break them down for you, so you can clearly see exactly what was in his mind, right? So that's the first source. So let's go back here. I'm going to go down here, and we're going to talk about occultism, faithism, and the Oahspe, right? So occultism is the occult. In the broadest sense, is a category of esoteric supernatural beliefs and practices which generally fall outside the scope of organized religion and science, encompassing phenomena involving otherworldly agencies such as magic, mysticism, and very spells, right? Let's deal with faithism, right? Faithism is a religion based on the Oahspe. It's based on the Oahspe. So the faith comes out of this book. So oftentimes you'll hear faithists now try to separate themselves from the book because of what they know that is actually inside of the book. So now they try to separate themselves for it and say, you know what, we don't really follow the book per se. We don't really follow it per se. It's just, we just use it, just so we can get, just an outline understanding of what we're doing. But the whole premise of faithism is based on the Oahspe writing. Without it, there is no development of the faithism movement or the faithist movement. With this particular branch of faithists, it doesn't exist. So you cannot take yourself away, and then you'll start to see the various drawings, the various hieroglyphs that he created, right? That is generated. He generated on a typewriter, right? We can clearly see this, right? And so let's go down here because I want to get into it now. We set the stage because a lot of these guys really don't want you to go into the book. They don't want you to go into the book. This is the book of the first lords. And you find in the book of the first lords, chapters 1 through 3, what you see is basically their retelling of the creation of mankind, right? And they give you breakdown 3 different types of creations, right? And so once you begin to realize, you'll start to see the weird writings, right? And you'll see that it's chock full of scientific racism. And I'm going to show you that, right? It talks about, again, realizing the word Ian, right? Or Ain, right? This is how he pronounced it. And if I'm mispronouncing, I'm sure one of them Oahspeans will come and try to correct me on it. But this is really a variation of the word Aryan. This is the same belief system that the Nazis were founded upon. Aryanism, right? The same belief systems. But he changes the words in the Oahspe to show that that is the actual first creation and the actual special creation of the creator himself, Jehovah, right? That's the special creation. These Ains or these Ains, right? Or these Aryans. That's the first special creation, right? And you'll read about them in various tales in the Thule Society. If you looked them up, and again, as I said, the Nazi Party followed that, right? And so then realizing also they use a terminology. He also uses a term in here of a people called the Druks or the Drooks, D-R-U-K, right? And you'll see he does some weird misspelling simply to try to cover up his scientific racism or his racism, right? And so when you began to look at the Druks, he defines the Druks or the darks. You see how he does a play on words from the Ayin to the Aryan to the Druks to the darks or the Negroids. This is who he calls the people or the melanated people, right? Then also realizing another word, he used the yaks or the yak was also created. This is another variation because if you study further into one of his beliefs, he believed in spiritual beings that walked the earth. And one of those spiritual beings that he thought of mystic beings or beings of magic was the Yeti or quote unquote Bigfoot. So he talks about Bigfoot, right, being created upon the earth, right? So he talks about the Aryans, the darkies or the darks, and Bigfoot, right? And then he also talks about, outside of Jehovah, the creator, he also talks about Om, O-M. That's exactly how it's written in the text. Om, O-M, the mother goddess of all creation, when it's simply just the variation of the word mom, M-O-M. This is the kind of stuff and silliness that you see that's going forward in this book consistently and constantly. That's the only way to read this book. And this is what he does. And he proves this throughout. I'm going to show you some things. And we're talking about the book of the Lord of the first, the book of the first lords, right? This particular book right here, specifically dealing with chapters 1, 2, 3. And if you go in this particular section here, you'll see in the second chapter, it talks about the evil creation that came about. Or the evil demonic creations, basically, is what he says. Or that the evil demonic creation were the Drooks or the darks, and he describes them right here as the melanated or dark-skinned people. Those were the ignorant people of the land that were created. That was the ignorant creation. Subpar to the Aryans, who were supposed to be servants and submit themselves and use as slaves or enslaved labor to the Aryan race, right? This is why we say right off the bat, we have to reinforce that what this book is. This is why they never go into this and they never want you to talk about what was in the mind of John Newbro, because he was clearly a racist, a scientific racist is that. And he talks about clearly in the second chapter of the book, first book of the Lords, he talks about how that the darkies of the Drooks were evil, and that these were people of war. These were the warmongers, right? And it was the Aryans that gave them knowledge so that they can have longevity upon the earth, because without the Aryans giving the darkies the proper and correct knowledge to live upon the earth, they wouldn't have been able to survive. So this is what is the beginning of the story. No matter what other books they take you to, no matter what other arguments they try to take you to, and this is a picture of one of the Drooks. You see it, the long arms here, right? The dark complexion being taken out of the dirt, out of the mud, right? This is the actual one of the paintings that he talks about, that they've used as one of the book covers, right? So this is often what they talk about. So let me go down here, right? And let me see what I can show you as well. Because what he gets into is that in these particular texts, let me show you right here. In these particular texts, he also talks about, and you can see the citation here. You guys can go to it and read it for yourselves. He talks about how that the darkies were cannibals. They were cannibals. They had no knowledge. They had very small brains, which goes right along with the scientific racist arguments of the day, right? This is what he wrote into the book. This is what he claims those spirit beings had him to write out on the typewriter, right? You can read all of that in the first book of the Lord's, chapters 1, 2, 3. It lays it out clearly. So what he's actually doing, he's taking the scientific racist arguments of the day and hiding them inside this narrative. Why? Because it was popular of the time to do so. It was popular of the time to do so. And so you'll see all of this. And he'll even tell you, I'm not creating this Bible to be a religion. I just want to inform the people of who we are and what we are in the in this realm of living. He says he never wanted it to be a religion. He never wanted people to follow it. He just wanted it to be used as a handbook, basically. But these faithist people started a movement from it based on scientific racism and racism.
What page one of them,
can you see it?
What page? I want to make sure we're on the same page. I see page number 5.
You see page number 5? I think that's
because somebody in the chat said the page ain't moving, so I want to make sure
it's not moving. Hold on, let me see.
That's where you at.
Is it moving now?
No.
It's still on page 5. Is it still on page 5?
Yes, it's still on. I think it's on page 6.
Is it on page 6 now?
Yeah.
Does it say faithism?
No, it's on page 5. Because I see the number. Is the number above the page? That's the first one, right? Then 2, 3, then 4. 5 is above the page that's lighted, that's highlighted.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay, yeah, 5 is above the page. That's above the page that's highlighted.
Okay.
Where it says, yeah, you see that? So I'm gonna go to the next page so that people can follow you. I'm telling, because it's all in the same.
Yeah, go to the next page. I want to see if it changed.
Okay, I just went to the next page. Did it change? You should see it highlighted.
No, it's not changing. That's what they said. The page not moving.
Man, the page not moving.
Unshare and then share again.
Unshare, then share again. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna stop sharing it.
Okay. Now share it again.
I'll share it again.
Wow, there's some real powerful history, y'all. I'm telling you, Oahspe, man, They gonna come back at you, Yarah. They coming back at you, Elder.
They don't have nothing. Trust me. I ain't even got started.
Yeah, while you do that, let me take a quick pause real quick with a commercial. I got to take a quick commercial break. Only a minute. It's only a minute. Go get yourself some water.
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe. They've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got great working relationships already in D.C. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building my political resume so that one of us, somebody who thinks like we do, could get into D.C. and make a difference. I want you to visit aliforcongress.com to find out more about my campaign. The Democrats have already done enough, and now they're putting illegal aliens in front of people like you and me, folks whose ancestors built this country what it is today. So again, I'm asking you to support me in my run for U.S. House District 12 here in North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to support, because what happens in Congress affects the entire country. So again, it's aliforcongress.com. I hope to have your support. Peace and love, y'all.
Yeah. Let's support Brother Ali. Let's look more into it. We're gonna bring Ali on the platform, and we're gonna I want everybody to participate. This is your job. Let's ask our brother some questions, some tough questions pertaining to the political stance that he's taking and what's going on within the community. Brother Elder Yarah, you back?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, just interrupt me, man. Let me know if it's not moving. And I'll get to it. So let me go to the next joint here.
Yes, it moved. Yeah,
it's moved now. All right.
All right,
bet. So, all right, let's talk about it. Let's start really getting into. I don't want to play that video right there. Let's start getting into the meat of it. So, you clearly see John Bellows was a 33rd degree Mason. Yeah, people often think that there's something, but that shows influence. I'm not saying all Masons was in shady deals, because that's not the truth, or they were trying to people. But people got, especially those who were not of, let me make this clear, those who were not of the all Freemasons. That's a big difference. Those who were not of the Prince Hall Freemasons, there's often connections with them with a lot of things that were unseemly and going on. So he uses influence. He's being a 33rd degree Mason, a vegetarian, and an avid student of world religions, to sort of put this thing together. So you see, he did all of this traveling and all of this connection before he even began to even write this book. But let's continue. Did it change, sa.neter? I just want to make sure that it changed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So again, let's talk about this right here. Right? Let's talk about this right here. Let's go into this, because I want to get into it. The glorious land of Shalam, right? I just want to cut to the chase. So let's see if we can get this one to come up here. See if I can get this to pop up. But it might not do it if not. I'll just stay with that one. Let's talk about this. Okay. So the glorious land of Shalam. Now, if anybody knows that after he started this sort of faithist movement that comes out of this Oahspe Bible, right? He's looking for land now to start this colony, much like we see David Koresh, and much like we see with the Heaven Gates cult, much like we see with Jim Jones. He buys these plots of land, right? And what happens is that one of the things that he says these spirits tell him to do is to go and adopt or go and find as many young babies from 0 age to up to the ages of at least 8. Find as many children you possibly can and bring them to this land. Already, people, we should have a red flag, because what he's doing is that he's looking to get, at least according to him, at least tens of thousands of young babies, of young children, all races, all sexes, it doesn't matter, from all walks of life. So he goes to New Orleans. He opens up this center in New Orleans. He has people open up a center in Chicago. He has people open up a center in Philadelphia, and they're all set up for people who have unwanted children to drop their babies off with them. And when he dropped the babies off with them, then the children are picked up and they're to be taken down to Las Cruces, Mexico, which is where we see the glorious land of Shalam. And it's still, they have a market at a day, right, to show you where the place once stood, right? And so this is why I say most of the people today never really even talk about that. These Oahspe Bible students or believers, they never talk about what happened to the thousands of children. They never talk about what happened to the thousands of children, because this is what they were doing. This is what they were doing. Taking children off the street who had no connections, parents didn't want them. And on the surface, it sounds good. But once you start learning, and we're going to show here the conditions that these children were in and what they were actually doing, and the reports that was going on with the children in these communities, and not just in this Shalam community in Las Cruces, New Mexico, but all around the country, where they had these faithist societies that were bringing in the same practice, bringing little children in, these same practices, right? Because what they wanted to do was establish what they call the New World Order. Isn't it funny that we have a lot of these cults or occultism always want to establish the New World Order, right? They had a specific plan on how to do this, and it always involves dealing with young children, right? It says, so let's see. So right here. So so what you see here in the Oahspe, right? It took concrete form. A lot of the stuff ideas that they read in the Oahspe began to take concrete form, right? In a convention held in New York State in 1883. By that time, 35 years after the Fox sisters. Remember, I talked about the Fox sisters. The Fox sisters were 3 sisters who had claimed to have this spiritual, they had this seance, and they claimed to have this spiritual connection with this particular ghost that lived in their home. And it sort of took New York City, it sort of took the people by storm, right? And it began to spread around the movie. People were coming all over the world to see these Fox sisters have these seances and do these spiritual rituals and different things like that. And what happens is people began to mimic what these Fox sisters were doing. They were so enthralled by them that they began to create all of these seances and tarot card readings in places all over the country based on these Fox sisters. And we're going to talk about them a little bit later, because this is what this movement comes out of. It comes out what these Fox sisters really started. It comes out what they started. It says where it's believed that they engaged spirits from the grave, right? And these spiritualist world, they was ready for this new evolution. People who believed in all these spiritual beings, they was ready for this. So the Fox sister movement took on like wildfire. And so New World was grafted into that. It's what influenced him, as we clearly see, to write what we call this Oahspe Bible, right? and come up with this actual, then we're going to find out this far-fetched story that was nothing but a lie. We're going to prove it to you, right? And so the sect was born in the New York City convention, and it was to be known as the Faithists. So out of this Fox Sisters convention and the Spiritualist convention, this is why they formed the Faithist movement. And they adopted the Oahspe Bible as their literature. This is how it works. And it was clear that the leadership of it was Dr. Newbro. So he spearheaded this, right? You can see his Perry Wallace, The Glorious Land of Shalam. You can see the Southwest Review on JSTOR. You can see it, the source here. It says their ads here, Ms. Catherine of the Las Cruces, she was of the Las Cruces compound, which was here, right? They took on this farm, right? And according to the farm, and according to many reports, the farm never produced enough crops. They didn't know how to live off the land. They didn't know how to work the land. The land pretty much stayed desolate, right? And so what happened? Many of the women and children began to starve to death because they couldn't feed them. Right? Even some of the larger children that had grown up, the ones that he adopted at 14 and 15 years old, somehow without husbands, mysteriously turned up pregnant and with children. Many of them miscarried because they did not have medical attention. And so right off the bat, we start to see what's going on these various compounds and these various what they call colonies. They were breeding colonies to create this new world order, because what they wanted to do was to teach people in the way of the Oahspe, so much so that they would not have any objections to anything taught to them in the book. And so you had many children coming up pregnant. Many of them miscarried. We're going to see later on that many of the children, as recorded by a lot of the news agencies at the time that went in to do the investigation, that many of them were practicing sodomy on the young boys and raping the young girls. Some of them as young as the age of 8 years old. So a lot of this stuff is what they don't want you to talk about. This is why they only want you to argue about the Oahspe Bible. They want you to argue what their dogma says, right? So even when I was dealing with sa.neter and we were talking about what topics can we use to bring up, I said, "Oh, let's talk about this information." And he was like, "No, we don't want to talk about that. We'll talk about anything about the Oahspe but that. We don't want to have anything. We don't want to have anything to do with that. None of that's important. We just want to talk about the book, your book versus our book." They have no concern about this. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why they don't have a concern about it, because in their book, it actually tells them that actually there is no hell. But those who do evil, right? Those who do evil, like rape children, right? Those who beat women, those who do all type of manner of evil, they'll have a chance to get it right, because you go from next level to next level. And doesn't matter how much evil you do in your life, at some point, you're going to be at a point where you're going to be this glorified being. So there's really nothing wrong you could really do. So they don't take any heed to punishing those that do ill towards others, because they all going to get a chance to do it right. There's no one to judge them. There's no judgment that comes along with their wrong or their evil doing, because you get to do it over again. And they're saying, "Oh, that lowest level that you start at, that's hell." But then you get to go to the next level into the next level, you get to pull yourself up by the bootstraps out of hell or out of damnation, right? So it really doesn't matter what you do. This is how they continue to do this, right? Now let's look at some of these children here. These are some of the children that they know were taken from orphanages, unaccounted for. Many of them found starved to death. Many of them found with diseases, hypothermia, because they did not believe in taking them to doctors, right? So these are the types of young children that they would often get. So these are the ones that the orphanages knew that were taking them in. And you can see they're all types of colors, all types of backgrounds. But to them, many of these children that were bought were never accounted for, not in their teenage years, not even in their adult lives. And the belief is that some of these children were actually sacrificed. They were made sacrifice through starvation. See, people don't realize that starvation is a form of sacrifice that has been practiced for thousands of years. And this was one of their forms of sacrifice or becoming closer to God. Not fasting, but complete starvation. No food. And at times, no water. And many of the children, the bodies that were found, they died of complete starvation. Complete starvation. It was a form of sacrifice, ritual sacrifice. This is why I talk about the Malachian priesthood and this form of child sacrifice being practiced in these colonies of the faithism movement. This is the stuff they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about this imagery. They don't want to talk about what happened to the thousands and thousands of kids that were dropped off at these centers, at these homes around the country, Philadelphia, Chicago, New Orleans, who were never to be heard from again. And the only reason why Newbro wasn't prosecuted is because he died. They don't want to talk about the three high priests of the faithist movement. And the only way to be blessed by the three high priests of the faithist movement is that they had to have sexual intercourse with the young boys and the young girls in order to receive their blessing. This is the things that they don't want to talk about. They just want to argue whether or not your Bible is better than my Bible. That's all they want to talk about. Remember, we talked about the pictures. There's an old saying that talks about a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's an old saying, right? Let's look at what they talk about when it comes to dealing with them. The brother asked me the other day, what is corpore? What is corpore? I guess he assumed I didn't know, right? I guess he assumed I didn't know, but that's fine. People do that a lot. But out of this source here, it talks about the orphan utopia of the Shalam colony, right? This is a reproduction of one of the paintings, one of the most famous ones, actually, right? The complex iconography of the painting, said to be 17 feet tall, that's this particular painting here, was 17 feet tall and 10 feet wide. And it depicted a central tenet. Do y'all get that? A central tenet of the Oahspe theology, that Christianity was founded when a powerful spirit usurped and destroyed the teachings of the Jewish prophet Joshua or Jesus, right? That's the core belief of the Oahspe Bible. But this painting depicts their tenets, their core theology. And I'm going to show y'all this. I'm going to blow this image up and I'm going to show you guys this. Let me see if I can get to it. I'm going to go to this link, to this source real quick. Let me share it. Hopefully it comes up. Because they want to separate what we know to be fact to argue their simple dogma, right? So this is it's called the Orphan Utopia, John Bello Newbro from the Desert Colony by Reed McConnell, right? sa.neter, real quick. Can you see this image on the screen?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. Now, this is one of the paintings attributed to John Bello Newbrough. And the reason why this is important, because it goes to the very center of the Oahspe theology. Now, they may try to argue against it, but they can't. They're dead in the water with it. But I want you guys to pay attention to something, right? Now, their depiction of the Christ figure. And if you look closely, he's holding a blade here, a knife, right? Or a sword. And if you understand what this is, right? This is a sword of judgment, right? This is a picture of Christ here, right? This is also a picture right here. Seems like this image back here with his shades on. Got like these shades on, or these blue blockers, and these horns sticking out right here. And of course, he's holding the Oahspe Bible right here. They're all holding the Oahspe, all of these images, right? This is one of the angels that came, that he depicted, that came to him and brought him the word of the Oahspe. This is one of the angels that he depicts, right? Also, this is a depiction of the Creator. This is what he says. This is a picture of Yeshua, and this is its high priest. And it's this high priest I want you guys to focus on in this painting, right? Because as you see what they're doing here, you're seeing here in these images here, they're subjecting or they're overpowering the women, right?
All right. Hey, hold up 1 minute. Family, all moderators, please let Oahspe live. We don't need to take their comment away. Let them live.
Let them live, please.
Let them rock.
Please let them live. Let them live. Let them live.
You could bet the Hebrews going in.
Yeah.
So leave Cosmon and them alone. Let
them rock. Don't run them off. They ain't gonna have too much left after this. So as you began to see, and this is a painting by John Bellows, and why it's important, these images here, they seem to be images of both men and women, but they're all depictions of women. But it's how they see them, it's how they depict them. You see them all subjugated and oppressed under these particular images. I'm going to show you something else. And when the brother was talking about what is corpore, this is the image of corpore right here, right? And you can see these images of these skeletal beings that lined up here. They have these helmets on, these glasses here. You see this like this lion image here with wings. He's standing upon the cross. You see this other beast here. He's also standing on the cross, right? And this is the world here, or what they talk about, when the brother asked me what was corporal. Well, let me read this. It says, the reproduction of an undated painting by John Bello Newbrough, right here, it says, while in storage in the El Paso, Texas. It says the complex iconography of the painting and is 17 feet tall and 10 feet wide. Now, if y'all could imagine how large that is of a painting, this is why they don't like to bring these images out, because these images, these 100 paintings that they use as part of the canon, along with the Oahspe, that most of these Oahspe that you've seen have never talked about or shown you guys here. They don't talk about these images because they tell you exactly what's in this guy's mind, right? So this image here, this painting is often called the painting of the three worlds. The painting of the three worlds, right? And here is what they call the etheria, right? Or Etheria, or let me say it, Eritrea, right? Some to that degree. It's based on his made up words of ether, just say the ether area. That's basically how you would put those two words together, right? The ether area. So, right. So that would be this image here in this area here, right? On this particular paintings, right? And this is corpore, which is short for corporal, like corporal punishment or corporal discipline, right, or control, right? Like I said, he did a lot of silly playing on words here, right? He says the painting depicts the three realms, right? Depicts the three realms that the Oahspe talk about, right? It says, and then also where it talks about right here, right? It says the upper portion. He says they have one portion called, the middle portion is called the atmosphere. That's this portion, the atmosphere. Then you have this portion here, which is called the upper portion, which represents, here it is, etheria, I can't even pronounce it, or the higher heavens, right? Which is this here, where you see these beings existing. But I'm going to show you something else real diabolical about this painting, right? Something else real diabolical about this painting. Let me go back here. All right. Show you guys something real diabolical about this painting. I want to go back here and show this real quick. If you notice, and I'll bring it up, I'm going to bring it up a little bit later too. If you notice that this image here is the exact same image. It has a goat head. It has the cone pyramid head here. Cone pyramid hat. It has the goat horns, the goat ears. In its hand here, it has a sacrificial knife. It has a sacrificial blade. Notice the curvature of it. It's a sacrificial blade. Now, notice another one of the most telling things about this is that it has hooved feet. This image here, this is the high priest here. It has hooved feet. Why does this image have hooved feet? Why does this image have goat horns? Why does he have the cone, the pyramid-shaped cone here, right? Why does it have the goat ears? Why does it have the sacrificial blade in his hand? And it also has what seems to be a rosary, but it's also holding as well the Oahspe. Why does it depict that? I'm going to show you why it depicts that. Right? I'm going to show you why I depict that. Hold on, let me go down here.
Why are you here?
Let me show you why I depict that. Here it is here. If you notice, he painted himself. If you're familiar with this image, this is the Baphomet image. And if you notice on the Baphomet image, it has two. This is the one that they actually been sending around the country, with depiction of the two children on the side here, right? This image here is also tied to the Molech deity in ancient Canaan that was known and prevalent from the time of the Carginians all the way up until even now, that practice child sacrifice. And you clearly see here
I don't know if Elder Yarah's slides are moving or if he's on that slide. Yarah, are you on that slide or are your slides moving, brother? Because if it's not, I ain't pick up on it.
The cone-shaped image on the head of the goat, same as you see here. The goat ears, the same as you see here. The horns, the same as you see here. Right? And the hooved feet, the same as you see here. Ask yourself, why? And then what you notice clearly, he painted, this is his face. He painted himself as this high priest. This is why I call him the Molekian high priest. He's taking on the image of the Baphomet. Why? Because the image of the Baphomet, the commodity, is the children. The child sacrifice is the children. So it behooves us when he often talks about suffer the little children, placing sinners all around the country, taking children, starving them to death, impregnating the children so they can have pure blood sacrifices to what? To this deity here, Molech of child sacrifice. Ask the Oahspe. They don't never want to talk about it. Why does your writer of your book depict himself as the Baphomet high priest of the child sacrifice? Hooves and all. This is his painting. This is his painting, his depiction of himself. Why does he do that if this is not what he's connected to, and this is not what he's promising, and this is not what he's teaching in the Oahspe Bible? It's clear. They have no argument for that. They can't dismiss it. They can't push it away. He painted it himself. This is why I say they don't talk about the images, because more so than the writings, the images that he depicts of himself and what he thinks, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Here it is here. How much more can we say about the purpose of this man, John Bellows Nubro? Why does he connect himself to the Baphomet image? It's easy. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. This is what he believes. And this is what he wants us to understand, that those spirits told him to gather those children unto him. Go around the world and find us children who are destitute. This is why he wanted to offer services to the destitute parents, so he can see those who are in need. He can get close to their children, because that is what he began to offer later on. He began to offer dental service to these destitute children. And when he lost his dental license, he had to find another way to get these children. So he started going to these different orphanages and opening up these drop-off houses for children way back when, in the 1880s. This is what he did. I present to you the Molekian priest, the Baphomet. This is himself incarnate. This is what he painted. There's no other explanation for it. None at all whatsoever. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. Let's talk some more about these images. And these are paintings that you see of John Bellows. And he begins to tell you of the different matriarchs in these paintings here, right? Let me do something here real quick, because I want to make this a little bit bigger. Let's see, I can make this just a little bit bigger. Because I want people to be able to really see it.
Let me know when you want me to open up the live, brother.
Yep, I'm finna do it in about 2 seconds, because as a matter of fact, you can open it up now.
You want to get through the rest of your stuff first, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna be done, because I'm gonna get through this real quick.
All right. The link is in the chat. Cosmon, the link is in the chat. You're saying drop the link. The link is in the chat, and I'll drop the link once again for the cats.
Right. Because as we're looking at these different paintings and these different drawings, supposedly done by Nubro, he goes and he starts talking about the creation of man, right? And in the creation of man, he talks about men marrying men. in the very creation of men.
Ooh.
Right?
Well,
These are all, none of these, as much as they appear, right? He never refers to these as women. These are all men. But these are men in relationships with men at the very beginning. And so what they espouse is that there is no male nor female, literally, when you come into this thinking. A male appears to them as a female and a female appears to them as a male. See, they don't want to touch the drawings and the paintings and what he gave in his interpretation that he gave of them. Because it's in the paintings, not that misguided book. It's in the paintings is what I wanted to bring out to them. It's the paintings.
What painting are you showing right now? Make sure.
Who is that depicted on that painting?
Hold on.
Is that Christ?
As a matter of fact, Cosmon, read it right here. Can you read it? I want you to read it.
No, that's what
what
I'm asking you. It's nothing up there. No writing.
Hold on. You don't see it?
Under something. There's a bunch of people under something. That's the one I see.
Okay, hold on. You still don't see it? Hold on. Let me see real quick. Let me show you. Hold on.
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm gonna stop it then come back in. I'm gonna stop it then come back in.
Cosmon and Brother Yarah, I want to say something real clear. This is a good show. Cosmon, this is Elder Yarah's show, brother. So we ain't gonna stop you from asking your questions or going in. But we don't want to scream over each other. Let's not do that, brothers. Let's keep it respectful.
Let's keep it respectful.
Let's see if you can see these paintings.
Right, I see these. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, these paintings right here. I want the brother to comment. Do you recognize these paintings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you recognize them?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what this painting depicts?
Blow it up.
I thought you said you could recognize it.
I recognize him. Blow it up.
You said blow it up. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Hold on. Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. There's a way I can do that.
I think that is a picture of probably Abram or Yeshua. I can't see which one it is.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you painted it in black and white, right? When he shows him as a brown colored man.
Well, you said painting him in black and white. I don't care what color.
Yeah, I mean that you showed the picture in black and white, but it's painted. He's brown.
Okay, he's painted in brown, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So whether he's painted in brown or not is neither here nor there. What's the relationship with this picture right here? Do you know what this relationship is?
Yeah, that's Brahma and Utiv.
Now, who are these people?
That's Brahma and Utiv.
Who are they?
That's Brahma.
Who are they?
You don't know who Brahma is?
Who are they? Who are they in the Oahspe? Who are they in the Oahspe?
Brahma is a prophet.
And who is that next to him?
It's a prophet. He's from India.
Are they married? These two people?
Yes.
Are these two men?
No, that's a woman and a man.
Why does he call them he?
It doesn't.
It does.
Listen, if that's Brahma and I can't even hardly see. Is that Brahma? That's Brahma himself. And Utiv is wife. That's a man on the left, and that's a woman on the right.
He never said. Where does he say that this is a woman?
Look right here. It says an East Indian lawgiver contemporaneous with Poe and Abram. Go back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back.
Go back.
Yeah, right there.
Right. Contemporaneous would mean they come at the same time. He was a large man of great strength, ranked the highest spiritually of all mortals. He reestablished the Zarathustrian religion in India. Utiv, the person on the right, fairest of woman, wife of Brahma. What are you talking about?
He never called her a woman.
You're a liar.
He referred to them as a he.
Go in the book and show it.
I'm showing you the picture he drew and the caption that he wrote.
Okay, so in the book it said it's his wife.
Yeah, but the wife is a man.
How is it a man and it's a wife? It's a woman.
He never says these are women. He never called it.
Yes, it does. It says Utiv, fairest of women, right under the picture.
This right here.
That's a woman.
That's a
That's
woman.
Brahma to the left. Brahma to the left. Utiv
Right here,
to the right.
Right here, right? Right here?
Brahma to the left of the picture.
Right
in
here,
the darker color. Hold on.
Right here.
Brahma to the left. That's a man. To the left. That is a woman right there in the white.
And who is this?
The one to the left is a man. That's Brahma.
Right here in this picture where my arrow is. You see that?
No.
It's two pictures up here. You don't see it?
Where you at?
On the same page.
Oh, that's Abram.
Right. So Abram and Brahman is two different people, right? Hold on. Let me change the screen. Hold on.
Correct.
It's two different people, right?
It just didn't it just say that they were contemporaneous with each other?
That they were two separate people living at the exact same time. Brahman and Abram, right? Who was Abram's wife?
Her name is Sarah.
Her name is Sarah, right? So this depiction right here, how come she's never depicted? This is not a woman, because he never says this is a woman.
You're a liar, bro. And you're ignorant. Tell the people, have you read the book?
I didn't read the entire book.
You didn't read none of it.
You said I didn't. I just went through it and said I read
you didn't read none of it. You lying,
so,
bro.
Hold on. So when I read for you, hold on, let me show you, because it never says she's a woman. It always refers to her as a he. So when I show you, watch this. When you say I didn't read the book, hold on.
Yeah, show us that Utiv isn't a woman.
When you say I didn't read the book, what is this?
Right.
Is this part of the book?
What, the first book of the First Lords?
Yes.
Yes.
So when you say I didn't read the book, are you correct on that?
No, you didn't read the book at all.
You said I didn't read the book.
You got one page, and you think you know. Look, the whole point of me even coming up here to debate.
Listen to me.
Listen
to me.
Listen
to me. You said I didn't read the book at all.
You didn't.
I'm showing you the book right here. So
that's only one page.
Is it a part of the book though? So we don't get stuck.
It's only one part. Just because you read a page don't mean you read the book.
Listen to what I'm saying to you.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying.
Hold on. In this book, in these chapters, 1, 2, 3, who's referred to is black people.
There are no black people in the book.
All right. I'm asking you a question. It's a created being in the first book of the Lords. It's a created being.
Here you go. Put your head down here.
And I'm asking you, how are they described in the book?
Okay. First of all,
that's simple.
All right, are you done?
How are they described in the book?
Are you done?
As soon as you answer my question.
Just let me know when you're done and I'll start talking.
Yeah, I asked you the question. I'm waiting for you to answer.
You done?
I'm waiting for you to answer.
All right, then. Okay, first of all, let me get this understood to y'all. Everybody came in every color. Drux, Ions, Anguis, Anguigons. Everybody came in every color. These are people types. Ions and Drux. First of all, Ion means I can get it. It's a spiritual title. It means I can get it. A Druk is a person who doesn't get spiritual things, like Yarah. Because see, he showed that picture earlier, but he didn't tell y'all that was JBN exposing his false god Christ as a demon. Right. That's why he's walking on. Hold on. That's a picture of his false god that he praises.
I asked you a question, and when I'm gonna go back to that picture, I'm gonna ask you then, why did John Bello draw himself in that painting? But again,
he didn't. That's not him in the painting.
Listen, I'm asking you again. Yes, it is.
It's not. You're lying. Show it. Prove it, bro. Hold on, bro. You making claims. Prove that's JBN.
I'm asking you right now.
Prove.
I'm asking you right now. I asked you, how are the drugs, the DURKS, you said it comes in many colors, how are they described in the Oahspe book?
Go ahead, read it, bro. How are they described?
You said they.
Don't worry about what I'm saying. Show it in the book.
I'm showing it right here on the screen.
Okay, should read it.
It says they're described as dark, melanated, dark people.
Where? Where does it say melanin?
You don't. What is melanated, bro? You can't be that ignorant.
Where are you talking about? Show it.
Right here. I'm gonna show you again. Can you, sa.neter, can you see it where it's up? Because as a matter of fact, you can go to the Book of Lords and go to chapter 2, verse 4, and read it yourself.
What is? I asked you a question. What is a druk?
What you tell me what it is? It's in your book. You say it's the first one.
Okay, a druk. Are you ready to understand? Since you asking me questions, let me answer your question.
Hold on. It said that they were brown and black.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's right inside of that square where you got it.
Right inside the square.
Okay. What does that mean?
Hold on. What?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Hold on.
Does that mean that? Hold on. Does that mean they're Negroes because they're brown?
Hold on, bro. Y'all now here we come. We finna go down the ignorant road. Watch this.
Okay. Now, hey, look. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. What I came up here. Hold on. Let's get one thing out the way first.
No, bro. It ain't.
This ain't a question, Cosmine.
This is a question, Cosmine.
Hold on. We want to expose your God. See, you ducking the question.
I ain't jumping the question nothing.
Hold on, Cosmine.
I ain't jumping the question nothing. This is my point. He don't want to tell y'all what's in the book where it talks about the ions that he talked about. Oh, these are all just spiritual beings. It described the ion as white or yellow people, which was the great chosen people.
That's so stupid.
Stop,
first of all,
it's right here in your book.
Hold on. Is he going? Hold on. Is he just gonna keep talking?
Hey, the dude won't answer.
You can't talk at me, bro.
First of all, you said, hold on. You can't.
You hold on. Be quiet.
You said, what is a drug? As if you didn't know what I was talking about. Then when I said,
I asked you what a drug is. You don't know what you're talking about.
They're dark brown people.
No, they're not.
What does the book say?
The book says a person who don't get spiritual things.
Show me that.
Go into the book. You got it. You said you read it.
Right here.
You said you read it. You said you read it. That means you got the book. So if I go into this book real quick, hold on, because you're lying. You're lying. Let me go. Hold on. Let me go look up the word druk. Right?
I just said read your book. That's all you got to do. It's right here on the screen. Read your book.
Here you go, right here. I'm reading the book. Right? Those who are below the grades, those who cannot understand spiritual things, druk, right out of the dick, right?
And how?
All right, right out of the dictionary.
How they describe?
Also, hold on. Also, see, I'm talking. You can't talk and ask questions at the same time.
And I'm doing.
You can't talk and listen.
Bro, how come you just can't say that's how black people was called in the book?
Because it's not. You're capping. That's like saying white and listen. Hold on. Let me go in the book because he lying. He gonna lie. He just gonna keep lying. He gonna try to say that white people are Europeans. That's what he gonna lie and say.
All right, hold on. This is how we do this.
Okay, look, man. Look.
Hold on, Cosmine. Hold on, Yarah. This is how we do it. The term druks or druk, what y'all reading, you know what I'm talking about? Is that a human being? Is it a person?
Of course it is a person.
But that's what Yarah is saying, bro.
So what? Any person can be a drug.
Okay.
Any person can be a drug.
So
drug means I don't get it.
Hey, so
drug means I don't get it.
Okay. Watch this. The person that does get it, what color are they called?
They are, first of all, let me explain. They come in every color.
Bro, what color are they called?
You talking about the ions?
Yes. What color are they described?
They are described as white and yellow.
Exactly.
But we're not talking about as in European.
Bruh, that's exactly how. No, it's talking about how they were.
No, it's not.
In your book.
Listen,
Bruh,
this is why. Hey, hold on. This is why I didn't want to come up here, because he was just gonna keep talking, and I'm not at my computer.
He was just gonna come up here and not
hold
be able to tell
on,
it, bruh.
Hold on.
That's all. That's all. I told you was there from the beginning. This is how your book described white people as the people who are superior to the dark people. That's what your book says, bro.
Okay, pull it up in the book. Where it say they superior? Pull it up. Where does it say they superior?
Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. Now watch this. Just be quiet. We'll be quiet for a second. I just asked you, right? What's the opposite of the drugs? The people that are ignorant and don't get it, that are described as dark brown or black and dark and black or black and brown people. You told us what's the opposite of that your book says in the very first verse above it. They're described as the Ions or the Aryans, which are described as white. Yellow people.
Hold on, let me debunk everything you talking about.
Hold on, bro. So your book clearly says that the white and yellow people are superior to the dark and brown people. It's what
Show
your
it.
book says. I'm showing
no, it don't. Show it. Where does it say that? Where does it say that? Let me read what it say. Let me read what it say, because obviously you can't. You can't read. Hold on. It says there remain. Hold on.
What book are you reading from?
I'm reading what you got on the screen.
What book is that? What's
it
the
is
name
the
of it?
first book of the Lord's.
All right, what chapter are you reading from? So the people can know we're reading. I'm showing them.
They can see it. You got it on the screen.
Okay, now read it.
Now it says the time of inhabitation of Asu, who we call primitive early man or Adam, was 8,000 years, and they survived 2,000 years after the time of the birth of the Ions, right? Which is to say,
who are the Ions?
The Ions are the first men.
Those are the Ions are the first men,
right? With spiritual ability. Your Bible. Hold on, be quiet.
Hey,
no, be quiet. Be quiet. No, be quiet. No.
The first man created on the planet.
What?
The black man. Your book says that the white man was the first man created on the planet. The white and yellow.
So why does it say? So if that's true, why does it say Asu? Why does it say Asu?
Because Asu
the book not saying what you say. The book say Asu.
Asu is talking about mankind, and it's only
no, it's not. No, it's not. You're a liar. You're a liar.
Show me.
You're a liar.
The separation between Asu, Iron, and the drugs. It's talking when it says Asu, it's talking about mankind.
They're different people.
Created. Boy,
they're different people. Look, right in the next verse. Listen, if you would stop being dumb and just let me read.
You can't read.
Right? Look,
I know what it says, bro.
Asu, the very first men, dwelt on earth 6,000 years and then conceived of the chosen of God. And after that survived 2,000 years. Asu, Adam, disappeared off the face of the earth. And there remained on earth the sacred people, the Ions, and the carnivorous people, the drugs. The Ions. This is, hold on. No, we're not gonna stop.
You're finna stop right now. So who is it calling? Who is it calling the carnivorous people? Because what the carnivorous people is talking about is the people that do what?
Eat meat.
The cannibals, right?
No, carnivorous means you eat meat, dummy.
I know what carnivorous means, but they refer to them as
so it's carnivorous. Hold on. Is carnivorous and cannibal the same word?
Yeah.
You're a dummy.
Cannibals are carnivorous, dummy.
So what? So what? Everybody who eat meat is carnivorous.
That's not what it's talking about.
Everybody. Hey, listen. Look at. Hey, hold on, man, because we're not gonna get nothing. We ain't gonna get out. We're not gonna get nothing out of this if you keep talking.
No, we're not gonna get nothing out of it if you keep talking.
Let's just keep showing. Now, if you think this hold up, right, and this is so easy, and you should be able to just defeat what I'm saying in a debate.
Just keep reading.
Yeah.
Keep reading.
I'm eating my dinner now. I've been listening to you.
Yeah. So my thing is, I'm not up here to debate. You dig what I'm talking about? My thing. Listen, my thing is, I want to set up a debate. Right? If you want to talk, if you want, listen. If you want to prove that Wyatt, hold on, God damn.
Was showing his
be quiet, bro. So anyway, this about to turn into another thing where we just talking over each other. You dig what I'm talking about? And the people are not getting anything out of this. So are you going to take the debate or are you not?
I've been telling sa.neter I debate you. I never told him I wouldn't debate.
All right, well then we ain't got no more to talk about. Hey, let's set the debate up. When can we set it up?
You know,
right now. I can do it right now.
No, we can't do it right now.
Why not?
Because I said so. That's why I said so. I run this. So let's set up a date. Let's set up a date. When do you want to do it? Do you want it Tuesday? You want it Monday? When you want smoke?
I want to smoke right now.
I don't care what you want. This is what I'm saying. We gonna set up a debate. Listen. We can't do this. We can't do this talking over each other. We can't debate like this. So be quiet for a minute and let me get it out. Okay, well just be quiet for a minute. When do you want the debate? What day?
I said right now, today.
You can't have it right now.
You ain't got no debate.
That's an impossibility.
No, you're not ready. It's possible for me.
That is an impossibility.
Hey, sa.neter, he ain't ready.
When do you want the debate? Can we set it up for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? I'm free.
I don't need that much time for you.
Okay, well then let's do it Tuesday then.
You free now? I can.
I'm not. I'm not free. If I was free, I would be at my computer. Okay, so look, all you got to do. Listen. All right, so look, that's all we got to do. I'm gonna prove that your God is a pedercidal demon.
So
right? You gonna go and try to prove that these people is white people.
It's the person that kills babies. I ain't gonna try to prove that they're
I'm just saying, and then we can go into the authorship of your Bible and show you not one black person authored a word in it. Not one, ever.
Oh, you gonna die on that. You gonna try
yeah. Whatever.
Dumb, bro.
Whatever, you dumb. So you dig what I'm talking about? I'm gonna go and show you not even an Israelite.
At the end of the day, I promise you're gonna die.
I'm in the end of the day. You said that the white and yellow people was what we call white people today. I'm gonna show you a capping ass liar, and you ain't even read the book.
Who are the ends? They not. White
don't worry about it. Let's take that in the debate.
They call white people. And
we gonna deal with it.
Why they call white people? See, y'all want to run through that book. I'll take you on a book every now and every point you just made, bro. You're not gonna survive it.
All right. Well, then look, it should be easy then. Set it up. Right now, Hold on. Sa.neter. He said, so this is debate, Sa.neter. He said that the Ions are like what we call modern day white people. That's what he said.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't say that.
Am I right?
I never said that.
Did you say that?
I never said that.
Okay, so what are they doing?
I'm going to say it again. I said in your book, the creation of the great people, the special cast of people, were called and described as white and yellow people.
Well, then why does it say that the Negro today is those people?
It said who?
Yeah, it says the Negro today are the special people. Why does it say that?
Where does it say that at?
Oh, now you took this debate. You said that they was white like white people.
And I'm gonna tell you what your book says. See, you think I don't know why it says that?
Because you don't. This is why you on that same.
Because in this same book, it says that the white people that was created, the black people that you say didn't exist, but the black people was curious and they wanted to learn the ways of the white people, of the white man. And because we learned the ways of the white man. So you saying white is like white today. Exactly what I'm saying. You said that they white people like white people today. Okay, I'm willing to take that debate. Stop talking.
I'm just saying I'm willing to take that debate. We ain't got to talk no more. You said that they white people like white people today. Hold on, let's get a confirmation on this. Sa.neter, did he just say that the iron was white like white people today?
Hold on.
I never said that.
The man is saying he didn't say
that.
You
said they white men.
That's what your book calls them, white men.
Okay, so you think you can prove what a thing is by what color it is? That's called lookership.
So let me ask you, Cosmon, do your book say the original people are the white and yellow people? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Elder Yarah, do it say that?
That's what is right there on the screen, right there in his face. He just read it.
Well, then, no, it didn't. It said Asu was the first man, didn't it?
And what does it say, Asu? What does it say happened to Asu? What does it say?
They went extinct.
Okay, and then what was the next race of people?
Hold on. First of all, let's get this understood. Asu is Adam. It literally means from the ground. So they are brown.
What is the next
The people are brown. Hold on. Be quiet for a minute.
Your book don't say that, bro.
It do say it.
Your book don't say nothing.
And also, hold on.
Cosmon, all you got to do, Stella is putting together a powerful presentation. I spoke to him earlier. Do the same thing, man. Come on.
All right. Listen, this is easy.
Hold on.
Listen, this is.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna trust you, and then once you put your show out, then y'all could see what y'all want to debate on. Once you see your presentation. I
already want to debate on his God. Why is he ducking the God smoke? Your book said you supposed to be. Your book say you supposed to be ready to defend your God at all times.
I said let's debate now. You the one running.
I'm at work.
What you call for?
Cause I came in to check you and see if I came in to check your temperature, nigga.
I said you ain't.
I came in to check. I don't listen. It don't matter because you ain't show nothing. You exposed your God in that picture. Listen, hold on. Okay, I just checked your temperature. You said you don't want to debate unless it's today. So do you want this debate when I'm free?
I guarantee.
Do you want this debate when I'm free?
I guarantee you this, Cosman. Let me tell you this.
Okay, you can't tell me nothing. Do you want this debate on Tuesday?
Let me tell you this.
Because you capping, bro. You said that these is white men. I want that debate.
Let's hear what he's saying.
Your book says they are white men, and that the
no, it don't,
bro.
It doesn't.
When it calls the people yellow and white, what are they talking about? Their spirit?
They're talking about albinism.
So now it's talking about albinos.
That's what they're talking about, dumbass.
Yo, come on, Cosmo, chill out with the ad hom.
Hey man, let him. Hey, he need everything. He need every help he can get. Hold on. So I got it. So he's saying that in this book right here, the book of the Lords, it's saying that the Adam, the first man created is black, is what you're saying. And the second man, the white man they call white and yellow man, was a black man. He was just an albino. And then that the third man was also black and white, was also black, right? So you're telling us that John Bellows Nubro in this book states, in this book we're reading right here, the first book of the Lords, that every human being that was first created was a black man.
No,
that's what you say.
No, no.
Come on, bro.
No, nigga. Said, just bro. Because you brown don't make you a Negro.
What, okay, so
Indians are. Hold on. Are you? Oh wait. Are you saying East Indians are Negroes?
Yes.
Too dumb.
They are from Africa. We all came.
No,
from
they're
Africa,
not.
Son.
They're from India.
Oh, all right, that's enough, man. All right, that's
damn.
That's
dumb.
Enough, man. That's enough. Who are the Arabians, bro? Do you don't think about the Arabian Valley culture? Do you?
Yep.
You don't know? Those were black people, son. What are you talking about?
So what? What does that have to do with it?
Because that's where the Indian people came
hold
from,
on,
bro.
That's not where even he was.
That wasn't where who was?
That wasn't where the Indian man was. He was in India proper.
Indian proper?
He was in India
that's what you
proper.
That's y'all made that up out of this book, bro. Do you know what the Arabian Valley culture is?
I don't know other land, no other land but India that's called India.
Hold on, y'all. Is anybody out there that want to jump on and ask a question? Feel free.
That's bad, bro.
What's Son Payne?
So what day can we set this up? Hey, hold on,
man. What's Son Payne?
That's who I need. I need him to hit the link right now.
No, he's in the chat. He's in the chat.
Oh, let him know.
Who is he?
No, he's a yes, I know him very well.
Okay,
yes.
There you go. He's in the chat.
Yes. See, this how sa.neter. This how the Most High works, sa.neter.
All right.
I was typing Wits and Pain in email earlier yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Didn't get to send the email. But this the brother I wanted to have come on for this presentation. You see, that's how the Most High works.
Right. All right, what's Son Payne? You got something you want to say, bro?
Much respect to the brother.
I'd like to talk.
Hey,
I can't hear you, brother.
Yeah.
Hey,
hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
y'all can mute out and let him go.
Go ahead, what's Son Payne? Go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, go speak.
Yeah, I'm a Oahspe Bible cult survivor. Can you see?
You still there? What's in pain? You there?
I'm a cult survivor.
Okay.
And I've been researching. Yes, sir.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he got a delay, sa.neter. He got a delay.
Yeah, I do have a delay. So I have to wait for my voice to come back through. Sorry. Yeah, so I've researched Oahspe for 30 years.
All right, we're gonna be able to do this. Pausing every minute.
Yeah, I want to get him. I want to get him back on clear.
Hey, where you from? What's in pain?
Houston, Texas.
All right, I'm gonna give you a number. Call in, and we can hear you better on the phone.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Damn, where my phone at? Damn.
All right.
Yarah, he don't got your number?
Yes, sir.
No, I didn't get a chance to send it to him, but I can send him my number. It don't matter. I can put it in the back chat form or whatever.
No. I got to do it so it could be. Hey, what's in pain? You know how to get to the back chat, right? You know how to get to the private chat?
I am in the private chat.
Okay. I'm gonna put my number in the private chat. Call the number.
Right. And just for anyone that's curious, while he's getting the number to call in, Brother Woodson Payne is a 30-year researcher. He's a Oahspe cult survivor. He's he's the historian on the Oahspe cults. He is the foremost authority on the Oahspe cults, what's involved with it, dealing with the children, dealing with the breakdown of it, how it started, how it began.
Let them know my number's in the chat. Call that number. Tell them.
Yeah, your number's in the chat right now, Woodson. The number's in the chat. Call that number in so we can hear you over the phone.
Okay?
And why our people should run far away from this book.
Cosmon, say what you got to say real quick while we waiting on him to call in.
All right, let's talk about these ions that he just said was white people. He told y'all these white people, all of them, right? It says, to Ham, this is Africa. I allotted the foundation of the migratory tribes of the earth, and the tribes of Ham, behold, I selected many colors of men.
Hold up, time out. Woodson Payne is in the regular chat saying he don't see my number. Woodson Payne, you right here on the platform. You see over here to your right where it says private chat.
I'd like to ask Woodson Payne some questions too.
Hold on, bro. I'm trying to get him.
Yes, I do.
I bet you do.
Hold on.
I bet I do.
Hold on, brother. Woodson Payne, do you see where it say private chat at? All right, Woodson Payne, he's having difficulty.
No number shows up in the chat.
No, the private chat. Look on the side. Look on the right. You see where it say comments, banners, brand, and then it says what? Private chat.
He sees something. He sees it now.
Okay, yeah. Call that number.
All right. I just wanted to finish up what I was saying, and whenever we just want to go ahead, and then I'll finish up what I'm saying. And then me and Dog can set up a debate. But I would like to ask Woodson Payne, because he said he's a cult survivor, right? That means your mama and them was in it.
See how you do, man?
Yeah. No.
We don't survive after this.
Well, listen, I've already talked to Woodson Payne. So he said his mama in it was in it for 28 years. So I want to see if your mama and them was in there raping kids, what was you doing for 28 years? And did you call the police on anybody?
All right, let him speak.
A victim.
I just want to ask, did they read the book?
Come on, hold on, brother.
I'm talking about reading the book, bro.
Go ahead, Woodson Payne. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was in a UFO doomsday cult based on Oahspe Bible from 1970 to 1973, approximately. There was about 15 other Oahspe Bible UFO doomsday cults
at the same location. So after I got out, I started in 1995. I started researching this cult.
You got to echo. You got to echo because you got to turn your YouTube down. Turn it off. Put it on mute.
How about now?
Yes, that's better. Go ahead.
So I started researching Oahspe on the internet to try and find out the truth about this book. And
all due respect to
and brother Shalam, but I'm a former member.
And I did a lot of research. Three generations
of my own family get involved in this thing, and it really does a lot of damage to people. No disrespect, Cosman.
No, ain't no disrespect. I was just saying, did your mom and them read the book? So how did they get in a UFO cult? And Oahspe tells you don't wait on none of this stuff. How is it a UFO cult and using Oahspe? How is that even possible?
Well,
you know in Oahspe that it talks about angelic ships and everything. So a cult leader who was mentally deranged was able to weave this story of Oahspe and UFOs and Doomsday and Judgment Day all into one common theme.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Woodson Payne. Does Oahspe support a doomsday ideology?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, hold on. Does Oahspe support that? You dig what I'm talking about? It's a UFO doomsday cult.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so your parents were duped and you were duped too. Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. While you were there, how old were you?
20.
Okay, so when you see, did you see some like child raping or killing or sacrificing of blood or anything? Did you see any of that?
I did not.
Okay, all right. So wait a minute. Wait. Let me ask you a question. So you're telling me you're 20 years old, you joined a cult and you never read the book first?
No, I read the book when I was 13.
Okay, so how do you justify it being a UFO doomsday cult and all that stuff when you just said in the book it don't support none of that?
Well, what I'm telling you is that there are people, dishonest people in this world with a slightly mental illness that will take Oahspe and they will make you believe anything they want you to believe through using brainwashing, mind control, sleep deprivation, and very low calorie diet.
Okay, and you, what I'm saying is you fail for that though. Right? Your parents fail for that because you will agree. Hold on, bro. Hold on. You agree that
Cosby got to stop cutting people off.
No. He stopped talking. I started talking when he stopped.
But you got to stop cutting people off.
I didn't cut him off.
Okay.
So what I'm asking you is, even though you read the book and you knew it didn't support a cultish like attitude, and nobody was supposed to be holding food from you, nobody was supposed to be treating you wrong, you still stayed in that. Why?
Because I was brain, people come up with same ideology and they use Oahspe to beat you over the head with it.
So
when you live in a group of 25 to 30 people and you have a tyrant culture, you night and day with dogma, especially Oahspe dogma, and just hammering you with conspiracy theories and brainwashing you, indoctrinating you on the Oahspe like 20 hours a day. You have a toll on you. And you break down, and rather than fight with the leader, you accept whatever the crazy leader says.
Okay, but wait a minute. Hold on.
Right.
Let me ask you this.
Hold on, Cosmo. Hold on. Brother, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
In your research on the Oahspe, have there been reports of other Oahspe cults, because there are many, right, based on this Oahspe Bible, that has used starvation, that has had sexual scandals with children, impregnating little children in your 30 plus years of research or so?
In 2000, I was in contact with the FBI trying to locate an Oahspe Bible leader from Northern California who I was trying to get him, FBI interested in arresting this guy because he picked up a 14 and 16-year-old boy off the highway somewhere, and him and two other Oahspe priests gang raped him. So I was talking to the FBI trying to track this guy down.
Mr. Payne, close your YouTube channel right now because it's echoing.
Close your YouTube and stay on the phone.
Yeah, the crazy part is I already debunked that. You did what I'm talking about. First of all, they didn't use Oahspe and they was in Australia.
Hold on, stop.
Rosicrucian group.
Hold on, stop.
Yeah.
Hold on, stop.
Yeah.
Stop,
they already got debunked. That's been debunked. They didn't use Oahspe. And hold on, anybody can Freedom of Information Act this.
They did use
They didn't use Oahspe.
Stop for a second, bro.
Hold on, Cosman. Hold on. One at a time. Go ahead, Yarah.
Yeah, I'm telling him he didn't debunk that. They did use Oahspe because what he won't go into, see, he can't hold his mouth. See, what he won't deal with is that they're in the Oahspe teaching, or some of these Oahspe cults, they talk about these three high priests, right? Who they refer to as three wise men, right? These three wise men in these cults, it's true, isn't it? Have been known to practice sodomy on young boys in the Oahspe cult.
Well, okay, so Cosman brought up the subject of the Australian Universal Brotherhood. So the guy that was ahead of that was Fred Robinson. Fred Robinson was involved in a pedophile cult in 1950, connected
Correct.
with an offshoot of Rosicrucian.
Crucian. Yes, thank you.
So he lived on a whole male nudist colony, whatever you call that. But this cult leader in Australia also had a pedophile background. So if you want the information, sa.neter, I sent you an email. You can forward me Cosman's email address. I'll send it to you.
Hey yo, I think
and also, yeah, real quick, and also this is one of the allegations that was proven.
I already addressed this.
No, you didn't. This was one of the allegations
that
was proven with John Bellows.
How did I know what he was talking about?
Bro, I'm talking about something different with John Bellows Newball. That the men and the women and the children, it was basically a nudist colony.
No, it wasn't.
He had to, bruh. Hey, I got more bullets in the chamber. I'm telling you, this was a nudist colony. The children were barely had on any clothes when they came in and did the actual report. We have the news clippings and writings on it to this day with eyewitness reports. They're doing the same thing. The same thing that this brother is telling us right now is the same thing that you find with every one of these colonies, and they all based it upon the Oahspe. The problem, the issue with, and here's why they get away with this argument. Well, it's Rosicrucian. The Oahspe accepts all religions into one.
No, it don't.
So when they say yes, it does. So when they
no,
say
it don't.
Oahspe, yes, they do. So when
no,
they say
it's not. Ask Wilson Payne is Oahspe a religion?
I didn't say it was a religion. I said it accepts.
No, it doesn't accept them.
Yes, they do.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, they do, bro.
Prove it,
bro. Listen, brother. Does the Oahspe turn away people based on their religion?
Yes, it does.
Right.
Yeah.
What religion does it turn away? What religion does it turn away?
Well, in the cults, they usually force you to swear an oath to Jehovah.
Thank you. We don't do none of that.
You only will read the Oahspe Bible.
Thank you. So this is what they do, bro. This is what I'm telling you. They accept, bro. The man telling you this is what they do. They make you swear allegiance to Jehovah, and you live according to the Oahspe Bible. They accept all religions, bro. That's what I'm saying to you. What is you arguing about? And then say, yeah, I agree with what I said. What are you talking about? You don't listen very well.
Let me just blow this out because they talking about leaders and all that stuff. You did what I'm talking about. Let me just read right out of Oahspe. Because see, this is what they won't do. They won't read out the book. because Woodson Payne, hold on, be quiet. Woodson Payne just told you what Oahspe says is not what the cult leaders say.
I didn't say none of that. So let me tell you what
I'm telling you.
And does the Oahspe, does it also teach that the man should not be involved with the woman while she's pregnant? Does your book teach that?
Yes.
Yes.
So all while she's 9 months pregnant, the man is nowhere around.
No, that's not what it say.
He could be around, but
what is he doing?
You're not supposed to have sex with her.
I ain't say have sex with her.
Be honest
I'm not
here.
talking about that.
That's what it means.
Hold on, listen.
That's what it means.
Don't believe everything. Even the Oahspe faithists, they talk one line of stuff and they're doing another thing altogether.
So, like what?
You want to have sex with your wife when you're pregnant, you make up an excuse why you don't have to comply with that commandment. It's all bullshit. I'm sorry.
So wait a minute. So wait a minute. So you're admitting that the books say you're not supposed to have sex with your wife, right?
I am admitting that, yes.
Okay, well then what the fuck is Yarah talking about?
Yo. Come on, brother.
All right, then. Because, hold on.
That's exactly what listen, bro.
Because
when it says don't deal with, hold on. When it says when your wife is pregnant, don't deal with your wife, right? Before, that's exactly what it says. So when John, hold on, I know he triggered. So when John Bellows Nero wrote when he was first given his divine knowledge, did he or did he not refuse to have sex with his wife?
Okay, here's a story about Newborough.
No.
Newborough has Newborough's wife, Rachel Turnbull Newborough, was a well-to-do Scottish woman in New York City. So that's who he married. So she has all these girlfriends around town, and one of her girlfriends is friends with Madame Blavatsky, who wrote all the Theosophy.
Correct.
Yeah. So they shared the same housekeeper. So the housekeeper went over to take care of Blavatsky's house, and she's got a trunk open, and she's got all these manuscripts that she got from a German friend who had just passed away, and he made a deal. I'll give you all these manuscripts I've written if you'll make sure that I get cremated. So the housekeeper leaves Blavatsky's house. He goes to back to Newborough's house where she works as a housekeeper, and tells Mrs. Newborough that, hey, Blavatsky's over there. She's got all these manuscripts, and Newborough is right in the middle of writing Oahspe, and he's got manuscripts all over the place. So Mrs. Newborough puts 2 and 2 together and figures out that Newborough is a scam artist, and she throws him out of the house. So where does he go? He goes and with his dental assistant, who later
that ain't even true, man. That's not even right, man. That story ain't right at all.
It's right.
It's right.
It's not right at all. It's okay.
Watch this. And another thing, we talked about the Fox sisters earlier. Let's talk about the Fox sisters for a minute.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to tell you that briefly. The Fox sisters in 1948 started.
1848.
1848, thank you. In 1848, started pulling tricks on their mother. They would tie a string on an apple and bounce it up and down the stairs in their wooden house, 2-story house, and the mother would knock on the stairs and get scared. So the Fox sisters learned how to pop their toes on the wooden floor and make a knock.
Cosmon gotta even laugh at this stuff, man. What's up?
Hey, man. Hey, look.
But because you know what, sa.neter? Because we have the Fox sisters with court documents. Go ahead. Let them finish the story.
So that was 1848. So 1881, Newborough is typing away Oahspe. Now you can figure out what's going on. But he says in Oahspe that the Fox sisters was the opening of the heavens and for spiritual communications. So this is 1881. Well, in 1888, the Fox sisters get religion, and they go to a music auditorium in New York City. They invite 2,000 spiritualists, and the Fox sisters confess that the whole rapping thing was all a fraud.
That they made it up.
The next day, Maggie Fox, the other sister, wrote to the New York Times, or actually the New York Herald, that she agreed with.
Cosmon got to mute his mic. Cosmon got to mute his mic.
Let's see him. So here, Newborough has written a book in 1881 saying the Fox sisters are the real thing, and it's a sign from heaven that there's spiritual communication. And in 1888, the Fox sisters confess that it's all a sham.
They made it up.
Yeah, and then they turn around in 1892 and 1897 and say that they was pressured into telling they was lies, because the show that he's trying to say happened in 1888 actually happened in 1849, the next year.
Okay.
Hold on, everybody, hold on. I gotta bring up people.
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute. Before you go on, when are we gonna set up this debate?
Elder Yarah, what's up, man? You want the smoke or what? What's happening?
I gotta go.
I got to think about it. You know what? I debate.
Now you gotta think
I know
about
we want to talk about, because he wants to argue about, did God kill babies? So let's debate it.
We don't got. Okay, does he? Is your God decided?
Don't go yet, Cosmo. I wanted to ask you a question, King. Don't go just yet.
That's it. Let me ask Now Valley.
Yeah, we can debate
what's up, brother? Now Valley.
I got the roll real quick. I'm just trying to set up the debate.
It'll be sometime next week. We'll call you.
All right, we can set it up then. Till then, hey, look, breathe in, let the light in, man. I'm Cosmon, and I'm out. All right, I'll holla.
Ain't no light, bro.
You came in on this one, bro. You should have hit that link, man. Come on in, Inky.
We gotta just let the people know.
Now Valley.
Yeah, go ahead now, Valley. What's good with you, brother? Shalom, man.
All right, peace, Elder Yarah. Peace, Sa.
Peace, bro.
Peace. I just wanted to say to one of Cosmon's points when y'all guys was arguing courts, and Cosmon did have a point with one reference